Ark Invest CEO Cathie Wood expects spot Bitcoin ETFs to boost BTC price significantly. Cathie Wood, CEO of Ark Investment Management, foresees widespread institutional involvement in spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds following anticipated approval by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. All we need is for the trillions of dollars in institutional assets out there to allocate maybe 0.1% or 0.2% to an ETF, which will be one of the easiest ways to gain exposure, and one of the most efficient ways to gain exposure to Bitcoin. She explained, adding, that will move the price significantly. Ark Invest CEO Cathie Wood on spot Bitcoin ETF approval. The CEO of Ark Investment Management, Cathie Wood, shared her perspective regarding spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds in an interview with Yahoo Finance on Tuesday. Ark Invest is among the applicants seeking approval from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission to launch a spot Bitcoin ETF. The deadline for the securities regulator to make a decision on whether to approve or deny Ark's application is January 10. Commenting on the SEC's attitude regarding spot Bitcoin ETFs, Wood opined, something did change within the last month to 6 weeks. After being denied several times by the SEC without hearing from anyone at the SEC, we and others we know have gotten questions from the SEC, very thoughtful, detailed, technical questions. That's a very positive move. And it's not just one set of questions. It's follow-up questions. That is really good. The Ark Invest executive continued. Now you ask if the SEC is data-driven. We have had the opportunity, as many others have, to meet a number of the research people within the SEC focused on crypto assets or digital assets. She added, we have found them to be extremely thoughtful, extremely knowledgeable, and actually a great source of comfort, frankly. Because we don't want a spot Bitcoin ETF to get the green light if there are any uncertainties that the SEC may have. So I think we're answering those uncertainties one by one, each of the filers for a spot Bitcoin ETF. And I think the dialogues are very positive. I think the outlook is bright for a spot Bitcoin ETF. In addition, Wood expressed that she believes the SEC will approve multiple spot Bitcoin ETF applications in January. We do think it will be in January. Famous last words, don't want to say we know anything, because we don't. But it's just the actions of the SEC that are leading us to that conclusion. Wood clarified. The SEC is currently considering 13 spot Bitcoin ETF proposals. The regulator met with several issuers many times recently to discuss their applications, including Ark Invest, BlackRock, Fidelity, and Grayscale Investments. The SEC reportedly gave them until the end of this week to file their amendments in order to be considered for the first wave of spot Bitcoin ETF decisions. Impact on Bitcoin's price. When asked whether she expects the price of Bitcoin to continue to rise after the January 10 deadline as it has been over the recent months, the Ark Invest executive replied, well, in the very short term, because of the big move we've had, and it's an anticipatory move based on the expectation that a spot Bitcoin ETF will be approved, one or more. And it probably is more, so there has been a big anticipatory move. Those who have been moving in and enjoying some nice profits will probably, quote-unquote, sell on the news. That's an expression that traders use. So you anticipate the event, bid up the price, and then sell on the news. She explained. Wood continued, what we think is going to happen here is that the SEC is going to be giving Bitcoin, a spot Bitcoin ETF, the green light for institutional investors to participate. I think a lot of institutions have been reticent before the SEC approves a spot Bitcoin ETF to do very much at all in the crypto asset world. She added, all we need is for the trillions of dollars in institutional assets out there to allocate maybe 0.1% or 0.2% to an ETF.